Well, welcome to the channel, viewers. Relationships take concentration and effort. Tremendous effort. And if we're not willing to make that effort, then guess what? We shouldn't have a relationship. A lot of relationships are built on convenience and just supply. I don't recommend that's a world that you live in, because it is a world where you'll end up injured, broken, wounded, harmed. We're at Gosford on the Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Quite a nice place actually. When you look at it, beautiful place. And interferences are another problem for relationships. When people interfere in your relationship, that's a problem. That's a common problem now, because there's no privacy around relationships and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, I don't think many people know how to have a bloody relationship. I may not know myself, you know. But there are rules and things you can follow to help improve the situation within a relationship. A lot of relationships are transactional for different reasons. People will just exchange sex, they'll just exchange company. Some relationships you might just sit in the park together and whinge and talk and carry on about people. There's all just different ways relationships work. But if you've come to a point in the relationship where it's ended, you have to go through the rehabilitation phases of that. You have to be able to get through the stages of the relationship that are going to bring you back to healing. You don't want things to be upside down, as it were. There's no easy way through a relationship. They all take work, they all take effort. There's no way around that. And some people are mixed and matched, and some people are just not meant to be. When you're going through the breakup period, and that's what nobody wants that. For whatever reason it is, could be lying, cheating, sick and tired of manipulation, control, could be tired of drug abuses or alcohol abuse, you could be tired of lying and cheating. And if somebody cheats on you, never go back. No. You've been demoralized and you'll live with that message for the rest of your life. When somebody harms you like that, there's no greater indecency that can happen. And no, you can forgive that person, but I wouldn't recommend staying in that environment. That's just my opinion, particularly if it's narcissistic. It's a personality disorder, and I'll do it again. Go through the rumination stage. The first point is coming to the point where you've finally decided that it's time to go. You've decided that you've had enough. The problems aren't being resolved. You don't want to do it anymore. You've tried to figure an easy way out, and there just isn't. You just have to be honest and tell the truth. And so you break the news. It could be sudden, it could be by way of circumstance. I know in my last one, I just had enough of the hostility coming from family members of hers, and so it turned out that I was the cause of all the trouble and all this rubbish and nonsense. So it was, I knew, I went with my gut at that point. My gut had enough, so I just called it, and that was the monkey off my back. And then hello, and then some truths came out. She wanted to be on her own, which was good. I was the reason for the problem apparently, which was good for her. And I said, that's it. That was it. So then you go through the rumination. You stay on track. If you're already on track, it's much easier. Hold your identity. Go through your self-evaluation where you could have gone better or not, but you should be doing that as you go. So I was pretty well on top of that. Let your nervous system settle after the loss. Then you've got to go through the break of the I suppose you could call it addiction of that person, because you're used to having that person around. You have to let your body settle from that. Should take a month or two. Then you just stay in no contact. You don't contact that person, you leave them alone, you give them the courtesy of getting on with their life. You get on with your life. And that's it. You just keep moving forward like you were before they come along. And they'll go like they were before you come along. Whatever the problem was, it's up to them to resolve. You're not in it anymore. If it was you should be getting counselling and therapy and self-assessment. You should be self-introspecting and improving, making sure that you're not walking around deluded, because there's a lot of people like that getting around at the moment. You don't want to be walking around deluded, kidding yourself that everything's alright when it's not. And leave it at that. You won't hear probably, well, that person could pop up at some point just out of conscience to see how you're going or whatever. Probably not recommended. Not going to change or fix anything. We had usually had every opportunity to fix the problem, and that was just avoided. My last two have been triangulations, which turned against them and me in the end. You can't help other people's domestic formations, and they will surface eventually. That's the problem. It does jump out at you, and I guess these people have got to protect their family members from their own infantile behaviours and aptitudes and attitudes, the hostilities and the jealousies. There are a lot of people now that are dependent. A lot of the time it's the fault of the parent for overprotecting, grandizing, over-validating, over-supplying these children with things that they should have been taught to accomplish themselves and find for themselves in the big world. But a lot of parents just rescue their children now primarily from themselves, and that's their business. But when hostility comes towards you by jealous family members, and they're just hostile, horrible people, narcissistic, malignant narcissists, for whatever reason, and you put up with that for more than a month, I went 9 months, then you just get to the point, way past the point where you couldn't be bothered. The best thing for you to do is not to engage with the hostilities of people that aren't in the relationship but are jealous of the relationship, that have issues with it. The best thing for you to do is just focus on yourself, stay mentally right, and mentally adapt to what's going on. If the situation just goes on too long and you can't do it anymore, be honest about it. As a desperate last-ditch attempt, or to produce a reverse discard where you'll get rid of them, they might bung on some kind of ridiculous style of solution. And if the solution is not rational or reasonable You have to go with your gut. My gut said it's time to go. These people just are having themselves on. And that's happened in 2 instances now. And as I said, rumination, self-evaluation, self-introspection. Do not delude yourself. Make sure you fix the problems that you've caused. But if you haven't caused any problems, it's a pretty good exit. You can just get out, exit the situation, and move on with your life. There's really not much to it. Just take the experience and learn from it. It's really important who you choose, but the thing is, you've got to give time to things and be fair. It's not about judgment, it's just about things not working out. And that's it, you move on. There's going to be points where you're stuck, mentally stuck. You have to go through the processes and allow your mind to come to terms with healing. It takes time to heal, especially when you lose someone that you like. And you just go on. You get outside, get in the sun, exercise, have hobbies, read, learn about relationships, learn about improving yourself. Make sure you keep exercise and eat well. And this kind of thing. Maybe buy a caravan and hit the road. There's 100 things you can do. Stay away from drugs, alcohol, and other things like that. They're not going to help you. They're only going to make things worse. They're not going to improve anything. And you just have to bring your energy back to yourself. It takes time. You'll miss that person. Your mind will be trying to figure out what you could have done and what you couldn't have done. But sometimes this is just human nature working out within itself. You can't control it. And that's just how it is. Relationships come at a great price. They take time. And time's valuable. You have no time to waste, particularly when you get to my age. I just haven't got time to waste on interfering adult children and all this other stuff that goes on now with these single mothers. You just haven't got time for that. And so give tolerance to it, see if there's a resolution. If the person doesn't fix anything, you're really shot duck anyway. And you have to make personal decisions that are fair to them and fair to you. I'm Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison at Gosford on the New South Wales Central Coast. Thank you for joining me, and bye for now.